Warfare has always been challenging. But rapid advances in technology in recent decades mean that the battlefield has never been more complex and unpredictable. New technologies and ways of thinking are rapidly altering the way that human beings live, do business, communicate, and interact with each other. As more and more new technologies and battle strategies come out, they are quickly changing how enemies fight and how wars are fought. Top 5 Challenges of Modern Warfare. Number 1. Modern warfare is extremely complex. Modern combat scenarios bring a level of complexity never seen in the past. Part of this is due to the extraordinary amount of data being generated and captured as troops, machines, and computers interact in the theater of war. The information age means that soldiers, from commanding officers right through to ground troops, may have access to information about troop movements, combat losses, and the status of the enemy. Battle strategies can change, both rapidly and multiple times over the course of a day, as new information comes to hand and new tactics are devised. Keeping abreast of what's going on can take up a large part of a soldier's mental capacity. Now, there is a continuous flow of communication throughout the day and night. Everyone, from top leaders to individual soldiers within units, is receiving new information all the time, and they need to constantly re-evaluate their position. Number 2. Expanding conflict domains. Before the 20th century, soldiers mostly had to deal with things on land and at sea. That changed in World War I and again in World War II, as aircraft turned the skies into battlefields. Today's conflicts can also extend to the domains of cyber and space. In the cyber domain, orchestrated hacking campaigns, conducted on behalf of nations, can disable and shut down key pieces of civilian infrastructure and institutions, leaving nations in a state of panic and vulnerable to attack. On the battlefield, command, control, and communication systems may be vulnerable to the same kind of hacking. Smart use of social media, on the other hand, can help bring down governments, sway elections, and turn people who normally get along against each other. You don't have to look far to see this kind of cyber strategy being used today. By affecting who becomes the leader of another country, an opposing country can change local politics, giving them an edge if they want to start a war. While no major conflict has yet to be fought in the space, the major powers are jockeying for position, developing weapons and strategies for when that time comes. In the meantime, images of battlefield troop and asset movements, taken from satellites, have a major impact on situational awareness and strategy. During the Russian invasion of Ukraine, commercial space remote sensing and satellite communication companies responded to Ukraine's pleas for help, and their systems have played a critical role in providing timely intelligence on Russian troop movements and keeping Ukrainian military communications networks operational. Number 3. New combat technologies. Further complexity is added by the development of new technologies. Today's ground combat forces are expected to coordinate their movements and strategies with conventional forces on the ground and in the air, such as tanks and fighter jets, but also with a variety of drones. Reconnaissance drones can capture and transmit detailed images of enemy movements in ways that no human could, while a wide range of weaponized drones, costing millions of dollars to a few $1,000s, can be used to inflict damage on the enemy. Advanced artificial intelligence systems are used to study how the enemy acts and come up with effective counter strategies. In order to protect their country, Ukraine has modified open source and commercial voice transcription and translation services that use AI so that they can listen in on intercepted Russian communications and automatically highlight information that is important to Ukrainian forces in a searchable text database. Such an AI-enabled system can operate at speeds and scale that would previously require thousands of analysts for only a tiny fraction of the cost. Robotics is adding a new dimension to modern war. Robots can take risks that could hurt or kill people. They can climb stairs, be submerged in water, and pick themselves up if they fall over. With the ability to stay awake 24/7 and the ability to process information in an instant, robots have quickly become invaluable to the military. Number 4. No two conflicts are the same. Because of how quickly technology is changing and how fluid geopolitics is, the way that conflicts look is also always changing. Approaches to warfare that 30, 20, or even 5 years ago would have guaranteed success on the battlefield have now been made redundant. To remain competitive under such conditions, the armed forces need to ensure they are fully up to date with trends in weapons and military strategies and advances in civilian technologies. This makes it extremely difficult to anticipate which weapons and strategies armed forces will need to use in future wars. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is an important test case for Western governments and China. Number 5. Has a war started? Today, it is often difficult to tell if a war has actually begun. Consider the start of Russia's incursion into Ukraine in 2014, when armed soldiers with no identifying marks on their uniforms seized key pieces of infrastructure. Were they Ukrainian insurrectionists or Russian troops? Doubts about Russia's intentions and who the players were in the conflict made it hard to discern whether a war had started. In the same way, Russia used different destabilization and propaganda campaigns against the US and other NATO allies before it invaded Ukraine again in 2022. That was our list of top 5 challenges of modern warfare. Warfare has always been one of the most difficult things a person can do. Soldiers must face a range of confronting sights, sounds, and smells and overcome their own fear of being harmed in order to defeat the enemy. New technologies are constantly rewriting the rulebook for warfare. What are your thoughts? Leave your comments below.